One. Sure. Welcome to Sketchy Ideas, a live point counterpoint video podcast where we illustrate, debate, explore, and expand upon ideas that are related to leadership, business, growth, scaling, and personal achievement in a way that may make you think twice about implementing that new idea you just found on the internet. Hi, I am Michael Rampola.
And I am Brad James.
And we are your hosts for Sketchy Ideas. Today's episode, we're going to talk all about your employer brand and why it may mean more than you think. But before we do that, let's get a word from our sponsors. Brad, that's your cue.
All right. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your marketing strategy shouldn't be either. You probably have some ideas about what you should be doing or could be doing, but maybe you're lacking a little consistency, or maybe you don't know where to start, or maybe you've been trying all these different things and they're all falling flat. Cream City Marketing can help you lay the foundational pieces of your marketing strategy to build your company's success brick by brick. With our expertise, we can guide you in developing a distinct brand strategy, crafting an engaging content strategy, and focusing on what you want to achieve. We're ready to lend a hand or a hammer in building your brand. Schedule a call with us today. Cream City Marketing.
I like what you did there. Very nice. Sketch Ideas is also powered by Spirity. Spirity helps business owners overcome their obstacles to achieve a greater success. The two key things you need to overcome what's in front of you and achieve that next level are confidence and adaptability. And those two key things are one of the reasons that we're so excited to be supporting Girls on the Run of Southeastern Wisconsin, because Girls on the Run of Southeastern Wisconsin is an empowerment program that teaches girls how to build their confidence and adapt through those challenges to accomplish their goals. And they use running because running is a universal activity that is a lifelong skill that people can engage in and enjoy. And it's a great way to teach these ideas of confidence and adaptability. How can you help us support them? Well, we're doing a fundraising campaign right now. Please go to spirity.com/giveback/Michael, that's me, and support our Soulmates campaign to provide more opportunities for Girls on the Run to help more girls build their confidence and their adaptability so they can achieve even greater success as well. Thanks for your support. And with that,
hey, and go there. Thanks, go to the spirity.com/giveback/Michael, because Michael fails to forget to mention this all the time. He's in a heated competition. This is, as much as he loves giving back, he is very competitive.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
Go there so he can raise the bar for everybody else.
It would be nice if I could cross my finish line before my my colleagues. Yeah, I'll just put it that. I'll just put it that way. That would be great. It would be nice to have that to boast on. And if you can help me do that.
And he'd love to have bragging rights.
You know what? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I'll be honest. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate the support. And thanks to all of you out there who have already supported us. We appreciate it. All right. Last week, we started to get into the idea of first impressions. We started to get an idea of hiring. And it evolved into a very strong point counterpoint, which
or devolved,
depending, maybe simultaneously. For the record, we have had multiple people comment and say that seemed uncomfortable, and to that I say good, because that's how you explore tough ideas. Right? I just said confidence and adaptability is how you achieve new successes. Being comfortable is how you stagnate, and being uncomfortable is how you change and grow. So if we made you uncomfortable, you're welcome. If we didn't make you uncomfortable, you're not paying attention, because we make ourselves uncomfortable and awkward all the time. It's kind of one of our things. All right. Speaking of uncomfortable, let's talk about day one as a new employee. That was an unintended segue, but I think it totally works, because you've had a first day and it's either been awesome or awkward. I don't think there's really much in between. I think this is one of those experiences that is memorable for one of those two reasons.
Awesome, awkward, or awful.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay, there we go. There's our there's our measurement for today. How was your first day? Awesome, awkward, awful. And you know what? There's only one of those I want. I mean, so I think that's good. That's a high bar. But awesome, by the way, is what I want. Just to clarify, I would love for that employee.
I thought you were going for awkward.
No, awkward's default. Like by default, it's awkward. If you do nothing, it's awkward by definition. What you do next either makes it awful or awesome. It's like the balance point.
So they come in as awkward and they choose, or okay.
Yeah, well,
they
don't choose.
Paths divergent wood, right? This isn't Robert Frost here, right?
No,
we're trying not to be Robert Frost.
No, two roads might have diverged. You know what? The path less traveled is the path to awesome. I think I think that's true.
Actually, it's an uncommon path, but it's actually I lied. It's actually a very common path to success. But I think that most people think it's uncommon. And I always think about that. I don't know. I used to love watching Kid President. He's all grown up now, but
I love Kid President.
The pep talk where he says two roads diverging of wood, and it hurt, man.
And it hurt, man. Thorns,
rocks, trees, glass.
That was good. All right.
I'm sure Brian doesn't know what I'm talking about, do you, Brian?
Brian's definitely going to have to add that to the show notes because a pep talk
definitely coming your way.
One of the best of all time. All right.
If you're ever having a bad day, watch that.
Right? So good, Kid President. All right. That should be a Where Are They Now episode. Like, I would love to be very curious.
Well, they're doing another show, spinoff. Right. I also like it because the guy who's producing it, his name is Brad. So
it doesn't hurt.
Shout out to Brad, from one Brad to another Brad.
Brad stick together. So here's the idea about awkward and awesome. Because, okay, so here's what I want to think about. When there's an idea that comes from a couple of different domains. It's called it's a conversation you have on the ride home, right? So you go to a party with a friend, partner, significant other. When everybody's saying it was lovely, it was awesome, saying all these great things. Then you get in the car. And what you say there and then is how you really feel about that part. And that's the moment. That's the moment that we're targeting with employer brand. The equivalent of that is person comes home from their first day at the new job and friend, family, et cetera, is going to say, how was your first day? Because everybody knows, right? You've been going for it. You've been excited. Your first day. Here's the question. How was your first day? The answer to that question, the honest answer to that question, that's the moment you are targeting as an employer. Because there is a lot hinging on their ability to answer that question.
Yep.
So there's a
not only that, now it's on social media too.
Oh, probably
now it's on social media too.
By lunch, you know what? Let me go back. You're right. When I first was introduced to this framework, I was looking up my old materials. It was a decade ago, and you're absolutely right. This is now a first morning break. Your time frame is
a rewind, friend. It's a rewind, friend.
So it used to be you got to the end of the first day to win them, but you really have until the first bathroom break.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of these, that's a very tight time frame that you have to. Well, okay. How about this? If you can at least not be awful by the first break, they can still. It's good so far, right? But by lunchtime, you got to be at awesome. Otherwise, you lose. Here's a fact. This one I know. 75% of employees make their decision to stay with an organization long-term within the first 90 days. And those that are going to quit, 50% of those are going to quit, and they've made that decision in the first 45 or less. What that means is your time frame to win somebody over and reconfirm for them that they made the right decision to come here is a very critical period of time. Because employees have choices.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a relationship, and you want to make sure you're re-winning that relationship whenever you can. So that's why we want to give you the concepts and the framework behind thinking through what we're calling this series of firsts. So Brad, do you remember? Do you have an awesome or an awful first day story?
I have versions of being the guy in charge and being the new guy coming in on two accounts.
Okay.
I'll start with the great story of my first day.
Right.
And I'm no longer there, right? But
Right.
the first day was very, very good from the standpoint of it came in, it was clearly defined as to what the first day was going to be, not necessarily after the first day, but there was at least a plan for the first 2 to 4 weeks of what was going to be done. And it was laid out in a way that was alleviating of the anxiety of what's next. And I learned from that time, and I came up pumped, excited, all that stuff. And that mattered. Because I did go home and say, yeah, it was fun. It was good. It was all this stuff. On the other side of the coin, I have been handed people on their first day, the morning of their first day.
Oh.
And
you have no chance.
That makes for a fun first day.
That just put awkward against awkward. Like that's awkward squared now. Like it's hard to win. First of all, it's very hard as receiver to keep a poker face on that and say, great, because I had nothing else planned for today, and have a plan already worked out for you in your first day. Like that's a hard, and now I have to pretend I'm not scrambling.
Well, and that's where I always, my methodology when people are still figuring out how to do this onboarding thing, just as a Band-Aid fix. This is not by any means the right fix. As a Band-Aid fix, I always say, hey, in that first week of somebody working, go tell them, if you're in an office, it's way easier. But if you're not and you're working remotely, I always say, hey, just tell them they're only going to work 10 hours that week. Because at the end of the day, they're going to have to get caught up. There should be a lot of like education stuff they can do on their own. There should be a whole bunch of other stuff that is self-guided that accompanies the onboarding, as we've talked about, right?
Right.
And so that alleviates you if you do not have this complete syllabus and like calendar created to run over and over again, or somebody designated to run this stuff for you, which also is very important. If you are large enough where you're bringing in people regularly, you probably want somebody there to basically be their mentor advisor as like a temporary person for the first month of their time. Mm-hmm. And again, the counteraction to that is to hire in multiples, in twos or threes, because then they explore a little bit with each other, they problem solve, and then they come up with questions along the way. And that allows you to continue to do what you need to do at the same point in time, give them a proper experience with all of that stuff. So those are a couple Band-Aids. By no means do they work perfectly, but they work more times than they don't. And there are less awkward days than awful days, or there are less awful days than awkward days, and less awkward days than awesome days. So there are more awesome days than the rest.
More, which is winning, really.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. It's winning. Yeah. Okay, good. I like that. So I think you hit on a couple of really key points there. Having a plan, and folks remember, plan implies documentation. I'm just going to asterisk that because you know that. Clear expectations. I'm going to say resources as a catch-all for people and stuff. And this is for onboarding. So onboarding plan, expectations, resources. Day one, so quick term set. Orientation is day one. Onboarding is a process that begins before day one and ends never, in all honesty, if you do it right. So onboarding as a timeline is from before to kind of this indefinite after. Whereas orientation is a point in time. It's that first day. There's your orientation. I worked with a great guy who just got this so well. I was working on improving an orientation program for an organization, and he said, we got to lower the bar here. He said, on day one, people want to know where the bathroom is and when we get lunch. Like, don't overwhelm people on their first day. The questions they have are basic. Don't overlook the basic questions, because if you don't answer those questions, especially up front, this is a human brain thing, by the way. If you have a burning question that's not getting answered, it's very hard for you to take in new information. It creates a mental roadblock or a plug in the system. So until you get those questions out, you don't have to answer them, but get the questions like out of the way, like put the log jam over off the parking lot, right? Get the car out and get the barge out of the canal, put it off to the side, and get everything flowing through again, right? So that's the same thing on those important questions, like when's lunch? So you give them an agenda. Anyway, going back. That's the idea of a plan, a checklist, something like that. So the first,
and it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, lower the bar. Keep it simple. Frame it around this idea. Here's key point number one. Key point number one about how you build this is by asking. You ask new employee what it is that they want to learn, what it is that they expect, what it is that they want to see and do and have. And if you can't meet all those needs right away, at least you know them and you can put them into appropriate timeframes. But get that stuff out, ideally before day one, if you can. There's this whole dark period that happens between signing the paper and day one. It's like the 2-week black box. And there are so many dangerous things that can happen in those 2 weeks on both sides. I have seen great hires not get to day one because a lot of just, okay, we're good now, assumptions get made in those 2 weeks. Everybody's really excited inside the company for their first day, and this other person has no idea that anything's happening.
Right. Yep.
No communication. No, we're excited to have you. Yeah. No, hey, we've like, you could tell them what's happening.
I mean, you know what I would love to have? I wish I had been. I wish I had an email campaign designed just for them once they signed. That was timed out between when they sign that paperwork. And it can be automated now. Everything can be automated.
I think that's a great idea.
And we have some basic things, but there's nothing like, it's all logistics, right? Like, hey, here's your email account. Here's this is this. Like, it's all that rather than what it should be is like, hey, super excited to see you. Here's a story we had from our last person. Or
I like that.
Like, you remarket back to people over and over again. And there are companies that do this. It's just, again, all of these pieces take time. And so don't think it has to be perfect. Nothing is ever going to be perfect, period. So start with something, right? Like we use a templated email to get out emails and logistics. And it's very like keyed in process where now every time we have somebody come in, it takes me 15 minutes to get all their accounts set up. I send out the email. It's their supervisor is CC'd. Boom, they get that one email and then they get another 2 along the way prior to it, just so that it's there. And they're just basic things.
Right.
But I would be very excited to like design it where, hey, your supervisor, boom, here's a video of your supervisor personalized to you, dropped in. Those types of things are remarketing. And if you're in a larger company, if your company's not doing this yet, maybe this is something you bring up to them because it has shown proof. If you build buy-in before even day one, you're doing sales.
Yeah.
It's just like
sales and marketing.
It's just
You're
like,
absolutely right.
It's just like running an event or doing a launch. And once somebody buys something from you, for example, a BPOD, once they buy it, there's an email sequence trigger of like 20 emails over the first month and a half that they get to keep them up to date and on top of things as kind of like a guided track. And we're trying to recreate that in other areas, but that track has definitely helped us deal with some of the other challenges that come into play with this stuff. So once you buy or once somebody buys or you're selling somebody on like a position, you don't stop there. You keep remarketing because they still get buyer's remorse. It's just different.
Yes. You're absolutely right. This is I love remarketing, reselling. I say you keep re-winning their loyalty. Here's why. Let me just make a quick case for this off to the side here. Engagement, the value of engagement. Engagement has tangible bottom line impact. This is why great companies study and evaluate and adjust their people practices based on engagement surveys, because I, as an employee, can give you my discretionary effort or not. Right? That's what buy-in really is. Buy-in is whether or not I'm going to give you extra or meet expectations on my own choices and on purpose. If I'm engaged, I give you more that you're not asking for and really not paying for. And as a result, you get better bottom line results. Isn't that why? So we got a question from our crowd. Isn't that why CRMs exist? Yeah. I think that if you leverage it well and set up your marketing campaigns and set, you could leverage the exact same format you use for somebody trying to get somebody to buy. Once they've bought, verifying their purchase, engaging their loyalty, and ensuring that you meet their expectations, you do follow up. Exact same process framework we apply to your employees, who, by the way, I'm going to say it, are more valuable than any customer. I'm going to say it. I think a employee is more valuable than any one customer.
Bold.
Because as good as your processes are, any of them can break down because of one employee. And any one customer can be lost because of one employee. Take care. Okay, I worked at Marriott for a while. I loved the original JW Marriott founder. His original philosophy was this: as to any manager of people, take care of your employees. They'll take care of the customers, and the customers will keep coming back. He knew where you can make the best ROI investment when it comes to taking care of people. He said, take care of your own people first, set them up to take care of everybody else. So that,
yeah, and that's hard to do, right? So this is one way to at least.
It's hard to do if you
begin it at the beginning.
It's hard to do if you think you know what you're doing. Because if you think you know what you're doing, you're making a bunch of assumptions that are probably falling flat. But if you admit that you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be forced to ask more questions. And that is one of the keys to winning when it comes to winning employer brand. Ask more questions, make less assumptions. And here's what that looks like. You have a pretty good idea about what people are expecting. That might be 50% of your plan. But the other part of your plan is going to be built by asking the employee some key questions that sound like, what do you want to, what do you want, who are you going to be talking to at the end of your first day, and what are they going to want to know? Ask them, and then set them up for success in that conversation. Say, listen, I know you're probably going to be posted about this by lunchtime. What's your platform of choice? Can we give you something for it? Like, wouldn't it be cool if I gave you a little thing to put up on your feed at lunchtime? Wouldn't it be cool if I had a selfie station already set up, ready to go? Day one, bing. And like, I am helping you do what you're trying to do as an employee instead of assuming that you're here to help me do what I'm trying to do as a manager.
Yeah.
More of that will get you farther along. When it comes to this thing, let me just land this idea of the firsts. Here are the firsts. And at each of these firsts, employee has an expectation. If that expectation gets met, you're in awesome category. That one key expectation is not met, you're tending towards awful, right? The firsts are at that hiring, and then the first hour. We're adding in the first break, which I love, by the way. That's accurate. The first day, week, month, and 90 days. And each of those firsts, those timeframes, those milestones, you as an employer have a key question you're asking, and that employee has a key question that they're asking. Make sure that both of those are getting a yes and a confident answer, so that you re-win their loyalty for that next milestone. And the winning of each of those milestones happens well in advance. It happens before.
How do you know if you're winning?
You ask. Back to asking. You ask. You build it into your plan and your framework. Just like Brad, I know one of your favorite questions at the end of a meeting. What was the most helpful part of this conversation for you? What you learned from that question is huge, right? I've been borrowing it, thank you, unabashedly. And I can't tell you how many times the answer is generally something about, it was great to see what we were talking about. And they're using words about visual and observation, which tells me that this is the best investment I ever made.
Yes.
Because I can't tell you how many times that's the answer. So that's reinforcing to me, I need to keep doing this, right? So as you're asking and you're getting reinforcement from your employees, you put that back into your process.
Yep.
So, all right. So what else can we leverage from the marketing and the remarketing world to ensure that we do this right?
I think just because you ask, it doesn't necessarily give somebody right now, they're not necessarily going to give you an answer that might be helpful. But I think that if you've laid out a timeline, and again, using some automation tools, you can still make this automatic, especially if you're in a company where you are running HR or you are a person who's in charge of developing people. Maybe you're not in HR, or you're a supervisor, or you're a leader of a team, or you're an entrepreneur and you're bringing in people, right? These are all things that you can trigger and set it up. And as long as you lay it out based on where your company's at, it goes back to that transparency, right? Where if during the hiring process, you're saying, hey, we're early stage, or hey, we've been around for 100 years. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to see a series of emails. Here's when they're going to come. And you take a minute every day or 5 minutes when those come in and respond to those. And until you respond to them, you're still going to get another email going, hey, how are things going? What's up? What do you think? All this stuff, right?
Yep.
Just like you would with marketing. Because again, I think when you ask somebody who's on the spot and you're trying to get like that value question that I ask at the end of meetings, I know what my goal or purpose of that is for in a sales meeting versus an internal meeting versus a already sold client meeting versus, right? I know there's always a next step as to why I'm asking it. But for example, in this, I know that there are some individuals where if you ask them that at the end of their first hour, they're going to go, I don't know, let me get back to you on that. Right? Because you're one, they're coming in awkward. So the brain is in overload a little bit and they might need 24 hours to process things. Right? So those are things where leveraging technology as a follow-up tool to something you've already asked is like professional persistence that I think is something that in this situation, especially if you're trying to build that feedback loop, right? Where it's literally like playing catch. Yep. You need some of those automation tools in place because if you're in a meeting and you ask that question, you might forget, right? Right. And so if you frame it up as well, then it's all hitting a database. You're keeping track of it. Yep. Just be very transparent and very open and very clear about it, right? And it's not going to be perfect.
I totally agree. No, I agree. And I think I've seen this done really well when you can figure out what, like to your point, figure out what your goal is and evaluate that goal as in one question. That's a discipline that pays off because it's like my best example is Net Promoter Score, right? So if you can re-leverage that same concept of Net Promoter Score and figure out what is the NPS question at each of these firsts, now you've got a qualitative. You can couple it with that's a quantitative, coupled with a qualitative. Yep. You can ask for some detail, but you know what kind of a score you're looking for, and you can know where you are, and you can figure out where the opportunities and the gaps are. It's like in a sales process. When you find that your attrition rate between phase 2 and 3 is the biggest one, don't look at what's happening wrong in phase 3. Look at what's happening in phase 2. Same thing here. Yep. If you're not getting great results at the first week, don't worry about the first week. Go back to the first day and figure out what you could do at that point to set yourself up for a better next point. Get it down to one question. I've seen this done really well to your one question point real quick. There's organizations that do this. There's services, there's programs you can enlist in. I've seen it done really well where it's where it's an email with like a 5-point Likert scale. It's very like conversational, but it's basically versions of agree, disagree, but with a little more, intention behind it. And it's done really well. And it's a little bit persistent. Yep. And then they don't ask that question again, like they move on to the next one. So you're always, as an employee, you don't feel like you're getting re-asked the same question. You're actually adding new layers and lenses to the situation of employer culture.
Yeah. And the people who add context to those questions are helpful too, right? If you explain, hey, this is why we're doing this.
Right. And why? When in doubt, I guess we'll add that layer because it doesn't hurt to remind. What is our why? Therefore, what is our goal? Therefore, what are we going to ask? How do we plan, deliver, evaluate, and iterate accordingly? And the simpler you can make all of this, the more focused you can make each of these evaluation layers, the better your ability to make improvements is going to be. My gosh, we're at time. Wow, that was fast. I think we got. I think we did it though. I think we got through
I think we
the
did.
core concepts of what we
Most
wanted
of
to
it.
get through. Yeah,
Yes.
folks, this is a great one to follow up with us on, because if you are, gosh, let me just say this. I hope you're hiring. I really hope, for the sake of the economy at large, that you are hiring. And I hope for your sake that you're hiring, because that means you're growing. And that's good for everybody. Assuming that you are, be thinking about these things. And we have templates and tools to help you. So please reach out to us.
Yeah.
You know how to hit us up. Speaking of you all, the people we're talking to, we have to give a shout out. We now have 2 weeks running. Hello to our Twitch viewer, singular. But we have somebody watching us on Twitch, and I just got to call it. We got a Twitch viewer. Let us know who you are. You are the inaugural. You're the first in the world of commenting on posts. You get first, and therefore we want to send you something more than a digital badge. Let's get you something. Let's get you something nice. Let us know who you are. We want to give you a shout out and thank you for that. In the meantime, Brad, any other closing messages that you want to drop on this one?
I don't think so. Not today. Next week we've got our special guest was unable to make it this week, so we flipped things around. But next week we're going to dive into some social media and humanizing it, and I'm excited to tie this into what we just discussed today. So that'll be fun.
That'll be fun. So join us next week for some more fun, where we explore another sketchy idea. And just remember, just because it's a sketchy idea doesn't mean it's not worth exploring. We will see you next time. I'm Michael.
I'm Brad. Take care.
See you, bud. See you, folks. Bye-bye.